Heads and shoulders, heads and shoulders. Hey traders, it could be a bit of a short-term drop coming out of the indices right now. We're probably forming a bit of a head and shoulder formation pattern, which is really interesting to see what's forming right now. And this is something really interesting about what's going on with there. I'm going to talk about silver, gold. I'm going to also talk about the mining stocks as well too. And this is also something that's really important to understand when it comes to your trading and trading as a whole, right? Is that we must be flexible with the markets, right? We've got to be really, I think a lot of people are dogmatic about one way or one thing in the markets, okay? And so by looking at the markets, I'm always, when I'm looking at the markets, I'm always going through the markets as a whole as of, okay, I need to flow with the markets. And what does that mean? That means as a trader, this is for a trader, okay? As a trader, what we're doing is we're flowing with the markets, meaning that the markets it's the whole analogy of the trend is your friend until the end, right? But what's happening right now is there's a bit of a pause in the markets, and there could be a bit of weakness coming out of the markets. So let me actually just share with you what I'm seeing through here when it comes to this here. So let's start off with the S&P 500, but check this out. So if I let's bring up this this one right here, okay? And if I look at this here, look at this here. So we all do know, okay, if I bring this up, I'll bring this up through here, okay, with the moving averages, okay? So we could see here that we've actually had quite a nice upward move from here, right? These higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. But what's happening here right now? Really interesting to see what's happening here right now. We're still getting the moving average trend to the upside, and that means there's a lot of momentum still kicking to the upside, right? But here's the thing. Are we about to see a bit of a short-term drop, okay? If this head and shoulders is going to be a real head and shoulder formation, right through here, it tells us, it doesn't mean we're going to get a big crash, right? We're probably not going to get that. But if we do start to see a bit of a movement on the downside, where we can see we have this level here being the significant support level, and this level up through here, we're probably going to get that movement on the downside, right? So if we do break, we could actually see maybe a bit of a short-term drop out of the markets to do that, right? Because if this is a head and shoulder formation from there to there, and then what you do is you just get, let's bring on, that'll be the neckline from there. If we do break below here, then that tells me on a short-term level basis, we're probably going to have a movement on the downside to around about here. Now, this is where it gets really awesome, right? So that's the projection. As you can see, it's not a big drop, but looking at the short-term flow of what's happening here, we could be getting ready for a bit of a short-term drop through here. Now, I actually see that coming. I see that coming. But then I see that short-term movement is going to do what? First thing, it's going to, the fear and greed index here, right? The fear and greed index is probably going to then start to really ping into the extreme fear. Fear. And that's going to be a bit of a slingshot pattern. I really honestly believe that. Now, the other thing that I also do see is there's a bit of a long-term trend line, okay? The first one is that we've completely broken out of this short-term upward movement from here, and now we're starting to develop the right shoulder on this side here, okay? So we're starting to get a bit of a teeter-totter what's happening right now. But that's the short-term trend line there, right? Completely and utterly broke it through there. As you can see, head and shoulder formation, complete breakout, and now right shoulder could be forming right now. Again, this is the daily chart, right, guys? So bit of a short-term analysis, and we are starting to roll over here, right? We are as you can look at this here, we are starting to roll over with this right shoulder here. Now, we haven't got it yet, okay? If we do break below here, then we're probably likely to see, yeah, it's actually just looking at that support and resistance level, it's probably going to be more like that level all through there, I would say. So probably not a big drop, right? But just a bit of a short-term drop. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, right? I also do see on the weekly charts, let's go weekly. Actually, you know what? We'll go to this chart. I also do see on the big picture here. On the big picture, let's go big picture here. Right, I also do see big picture. That we do actually have a bit of a trend line coming up through here somewhere, and it's really interesting to see how this is all likely to play out from here. Right, Again, this is probably going to be a bit of a scare. I believe it's going to be a good buying opportunity as well too, right? So when we start to see this coming through here, as we can see, look at that through there. So if I bring up now my other screens through here, right, and we can see what's happening through here on this chart through here, right? You know, we have this one through here as well too. We can see that once again, this whole movement on the upside, if we get a bit of a drop to the downside all through here, and all that is as you can see, is just a bit of a short-term drop through there, I believe, before we see that short-term drop, before we see that short-term drop. Now, the really interesting thing about that is I wonder what the Fibonacci level is from the low point to the high point, right? So that's roughly around the 50% level as well too, around about that 50% level. So yeah, that's what we're probably going to see. We're probably going to see a bit of a short-term drop coming out of the markets. This head and shoulder formation is a head and shoulder formation, but we are still in a very big upward trend. I believe this is going to be a bit of a short-term drop, and that's what, like I see, same for the Dow Jones as well too. The Dow Jones is really close to its low level through here. Now we have this almost low level coming through here as well too. So the Dow Jones is one that I do see that we may get a little bit more weakness on the downside, but again, this is sort of short term, but then I do see like a bit of a short term drop, and then towards the end of January, or probably for the first week of January, weakness, and then it's going to be a bit of a slingshot pattern to the upside by looking at that through there. So that's what I'm seeing through there. Let's go check out the good old Nasdaq as well too. So check out the good old Nasdaq, and the Nasdaq is actually quite interesting. If we bring up this here, we are definitely getting a bit of a forming of here, but the Nasdaq is just the strongest one out of the whole lot. We had this sort of major move up through there. If I'm looking at this other sort of, we've got that going on through there maybe. So, this support level here, if we start to come back down, we have this, definitely on this Nasdaq chart, we have this whole area through here around that 20,000 is probably going to be that level that sort of holds it from there. But the Nasdaq is really strong from there. That's what I'm seeing through there, guys. And also looking at the good old Russell as well too. Russell's one that again, because we've already had quite a significant movement on the Russell, I am really looking for a really good trade on the Russell, but we just haven't got it there yet, right? If I look at this, if I look at two longer term trend lines, we're probably going to have that one through there. Right, so this is going to be a significant level, but probably the shorter term one is going to be from this low level here to that level through there. And as you can see, look where we're at right now, right? See where we're at right now? Low level support, right? And then bam, away we go from there. So that's what I'm seeing from there when it comes to that. We also have this resistance up through here. And so if we do start, if I just squeeze this up a little bit more to get a bit more context out of this, as you can see what's happening through here, we're squeezing up. So once again, the Russell is the one for me that could be really starting to have quite big moves in the market. And one thing I do say, traders, is that as you can see by me viewing my charts right now, and by me looking at the way that I'm looking at the markets, one of the best things I do say is always look at the flow of the markets. So flow of the markets, not the individual bars, right? So I don't really care what happened today. All I care about is the flow of the markets, the highs and lows, which is the most important part to us when it comes to these markets from here. So let's go check out the good old silver market. And silver, pretty much a down day today, but as we can see, check this out, right? So we can see here for the last year, we've actually started and continue getting a lot of weakness from here, right? And this is where I said, when it comes to gold and silver, the bull market is over. The bull phase is over. As you can see, look what's happening. We're still continuing on this downside from here out of the silver market. We're still on this downward slope from here. And as you can see, we were in a higher low, but then we came down, formed up a lower high, and then we started to bring it to the downside from there. So we really had this significant movement on the downside from here. But there's actually a lot of support through here when it comes to the silver, when it comes to this gold price from here. Silver price. If we go to the gold price, same thing, right? As you can see, ever since I started calling this year, ever since I started calling the bull market is over, that's exactly what's happened, right? Because ever since I said the bull market is over, we're actually getting a lot of weakness now out of this market from here. As you can see, we were in this bullish phase, but now we came down. Bull market is over, or this bull phase is over, and now look what's happening. Going sideways, but also starting to slightly head to the downside from here. So a lot more weakness probably still going to come out of all the markets from here. And so that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, when it comes to these markets. The number one thing we need to do, guys, is always just continue to flow with the markets, right? And as a trader, if you are a trader and you're looking to get in and get out, we must flow with the markets. And what does that mean? What that means is this, is if the market is making these higher lows, right? We have lows and higher lows and higher lows and higher lows. If the market is making those higher lows, then guess what? We're in an upward trend, right? But if it stops making those higher lows, through here is a very good time to be bullish as a trader, right? Meaning we're getting in, we're getting out. Because there is a difference between trading and investing, right? One of the biggest mistakes I see people make, they say, oh, Russia's buying gold. Let me go buy gold today. And then 2 days later, you're like, oh, I better get out now. Quick, right? See it. You're all over the place, right? Firstly, you're using a fundamental like Russia buying gold. And secondly, you're getting into it, and then 2 days later, you're freaking out because it goes against you. We need to have a system there of looking for that. But then suddenly what happened when we actually broke this low, right? So we broke this lower low, guess what happened? Bull market over, right? Because higher lows are bull markets. When we made a lower low, the market's telling us the bull market is now over, and look what's been happening ever since then. And so the thing for me is I haven't had a trading opportunity. I mean, I haven't been trading gold for the last few months. Why? Because the bull market is over. When we start to see another bull phase, then that's when I will personally be looking to get in on that market. And the last thing I really want to share with you as well too is, once again, the same type of thing as well too, is flowing with the markets and going with what's happening with the markets. And what I mean by that is this, is that it's so important as a trader that we simply flow with low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. And look what happened. As soon as we came down and broke a lower low, this bull phase here is now over. Remember, flow with the market simply means if the market's in an upward trend, we go with that. But if it starts to change, then we also need to go with that. And look what happened, right? We came down, whoop, came back up, then created the lower high, and now we're in a downward phase. But this is when the market broke this low here, that's when the bull market was over when it comes to the mining sector. So the purpose of me bringing up the mining sector is to share with you that the market does give us clues, and all it really is just simple trend analysis. Let's bring it back to the trend analysis, right? If the market's making higher lows, the market's still in an upward trend. But if we break this lower low, we're no longer making higher lows, and the market is now in a downward phase from there. So traders, if you do need some help for 2025, then I have opened up some spots to my 12-month, 1 year, 12-month private weekly coaching program, my Inner Circle coaching program. If you need some help and you do know that this is the year for you and you definitely need some guidance, some mentoring, some coaching, some more hand holding around the systems, the strategies, the management, letting profits run, cutting losses short, and all that sort of stuff, then go to getjohnshelp.com. There should be a second link in the description there, guys. Click on that and go apply for that right now.